Hello, 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 sellers. Come on in, come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Oh, such hot topics. I'm like, I've got to jump on and stream because everybody's talking about this, and I wanted to get in because I'm already hearing so much wrong information and bad information. So come on in, and we are going to discuss, is it possible to sell on eBay without paying fees? And the answer is, drum roll, yes and no. And the reason I'm saying this is because some breaking news about eBay UK has come out, and some people are misreading it that it's for all of eBay. And also some people are misreading it that is for all sellers, all categories. So let's take a look at what is going on, what eBay UK announced, and what the announcement specifically is, and also what's the fine print. Because anytime you hear free, anytime you hear no fees, it is always wise to read the small print. This is something I've learned over the years. Shopping many wonderful sales here in New York. It's the coupons, right? Read the coupons, because otherwise you get to the checkout and you're like, this is costing me a lot more than I thought. So what happened today, and this is April 8th, 2024, and I'm going to bring up the screen, is that eBay UK, so eBay United Kingdom, not eBay United States, shared, and here we go. This is the official eBay announcement. So that's always the first thing is when you hear information, we love all our wonderful seller friends, but what you want to do is immediately go to the source, and you want to find an authoritative source for the information. Because otherwise what happens is, remember the telephone game, right? I tell you something and then it gets passed to the next person. It gets passed to the next person. It gets passed to the next person. And by the time it gets around the room, it's completely reconfigured. So this is on the eBay site. And this is an announcement. This is a newsroom announcement. So what eBay announced today is that eBay United Kingdom, and again, this is the United Kingdom, not the United States, it goes free to sell pre-owned fashion. So this is just in clothing, as it encourages consumer to unlock 16.3 billion pounds of unworn clothes that are in United Kingdom wardrobes. So what this initiative is, offering free fees to sellers in the United Kingdom, not the United States, is it wants people to list the clothing that is in their closets, in their home, that they are not listing online, or they're not listing on eBay, because perhaps they are dissuaded from fees on eBay or the listing process on eBay. And this is what you got to think about. Why is eBay offering free fees, no fees, to eBay UK sellers? And it's only specific sellers, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Because it will get the people on the site. Typically, and this has been reported before, is, and it's not just eBay, is when I'm on the site. So if I'm listing my dress, my shirt, whatever that I'm listing on eBay, my jeans, is you'll then shop there too. So, but eBay, by making this free for people to list on eBay UK clothing and giving them no fees, it's getting the people on the site, it's getting them to use the desktop or the app, and it's getting people on eBay selling. Now, typically, if you're not aware of this, because this happens on Poshmark a lot, for instance, on Poshmark, when you sell things, it goes into your Poshmark account. And if you want, you don't have to cash out that account. You can leave it there and use it to shop. So Poshmark is smart, is people are selling things, and then people are using the funds from their selling to shop. And eBay has talked about this before many times in different announcements, is people coming onto eBay, selling, again, we're talking casual sellers. We're talking people that are selling personal possessions, the way a lot of people start selling on eBay, and selling their personal possessions, and then using the income from selling the personal possessions to buy something. I've heard families where they're selling sporting goods. The kids outgrow They outgrow the football equipment or the tennis equipment or the soccer equipment or the hockey equipment, and they sell the kids outgrown sporting equipment because it's expensive. A mom was sharing with me about this, and this is how she helps fund the sporting equipment for her kids. She sells it, and then with the funds, she buys it. So eBay is so smart. I mean, Macari recently announced about going no fees, but again, realize that, fees come in other places. So again, always read the small print. But with eBay UK, as of today, April 8th, 2024, and they call it private sellers, and I'm going to go into that in a minute, is no fees for selling clothing, and there's caveats, and I'll go into that too, for UK. Now, this is not US sellers selling on the UK. It's not UK sellers shipping to the United States. It's UK sellers selling on the UK site for UK shoppers, okay? No fees for clothing. But let's look at this, okay? And why is eBay doing this? Because it's getting shoppers, okay? So buying and selling pre-owned clothing is free of fees for eBay UK, okay? And they're doing this because it's bringing more shoppers on. It's also sustainable. eBay is very into sustainability. It's keeping things out of landfill, and it's going to bring a lot of shoppers onto eBay. And the other thing is, eBay is very smart. Jeff Bezos on Amazon used to do this, is it gets eBay in the news. People are talking about it. They're talking about clothing. They're talking about selling on eBay. They're talking about sustainability on eBay. All of a sudden, eBay is hip and cool, and it's in the news, and people are checking it out. I bet you anything that the traffic on eBay has increased today. So it is free for UK sellers as of today, but private sellers only. And I'm going to go into that a bit. And then we're going to talk about how does this impact us for US sellers. So this article was a little more in depth that I found. And hang on a second, was this it? This was it. So hang on a second. So this is value-added resource. And what they started, so today, private sellers in the UK no longer pay final value fee or an insertion fee. They call it regulatory fee. So you're not paying an insertion fee, a listing fee, or a final value fee, but it's for private sellers. This means a seller without a shop. They call it a shop on the UK site. We call it a store in the US. So this is casual sellers. It's 1,000 listings a month on the UK site, and it is clothing only. So it's not computers, it's not laptops, it's not cell phone accessories, it's not home decor, it's not your TV remotes. It is clothing only, and it is new clothing and used clothing, but only private sellers, which is a consumer account, okay? They can sell without a fee. And again, it's only on the clothing. So take a look at this. So I was going down this because this had a little more detail. Go down this article. If you do promoted listing fees or anything, that is extra money, okay? It excludes accessories, hats, footwear, watches, bags, jewelry. Okay, so be careful if you're listing in your UK seller. It is free only for the included categories. And again, smart of eBay, because if I'm selling for free, if I'm listing for free and I'm not getting final value fees, then I might be more inclined to list the jewelry, to list the hats, because I'm getting all of this for free. Then why not list for this? So then the question goes, okay, eBay, we are now doing for private sellers, which is non-store. For the United States, it would be called a consumer seller. We're now doing clothing with a bunch of exclusions for free. No fees. Again, why? Why are they doing this? It gets people onto eBay. It gets people using the app. It gets people selling. And again, if you're listing and you're selling the one thing, you go, what the heck? And you're listing books, and you're listing home decor, and you're listing games, and you're listing puzzles. It's very, very smart. It's getting people used to using the app, used to the eBay site, and then they're going to be listing the other things. Plus, they're buyers. You know this, you're on and you're selling and you buy. Jimmy Iannone, the CEO, talks about the enthusiast buyers. They come in certain categories like collectible cards for Pokemon, for sports. They come in for sneakers, and then they stay and shop in other categories. The one action brings in shoppers, brings in eBay users that then shop in the other categories, which is good for all of us. So the question arises for those of us in the United States, well, eBay, are you going to do this for the United States? And of course, they're not saying. Now, many times eBay does test things overseas in the UK and other places, and then it rolls out to the United States. But the other thing is, do keep in mind, there's other times when it tests things and it doesn't roll out to the United States. Should this come to the US, if you're a consumer seller, which means you don't have a store, jump up and down because it will be very good news, which is you're not going to have listing fees or final value fees if they roll this out to the United States the exact same way they're doing it in the United Kingdom. Okay. Now, the question then arises, because I've already had people messaging me, but Kathy, I have a store. What do I do? Well, it doesn't apply to us. So if you have a store, it will not apply to you. And then the question arises, if you sell a lot of clothing, would it be worth it to me to start an account that's a private account? It would be a consumer account. It's private in the UK, where I don't have a store. So then I qualify for free listings and no final value fee if they roll it to the US in the exact same manner that they have it in the UK. And then my question to you is, and this is when you're going to have to try, how much do you sell in clothing? And just go and look at your sales. Go and look it up and add it up. Typically, and I was doing my math on this, typically without a store, you're paying 13.25% final value fee. And with a store, you're paying about 12%, 12.35 with a store. Now, with a store, remember, you're getting categories. You're getting the ability to do coupons. You're getting the ability to run sales. Okay, so there's a lot of robustness to a store. Those of you without a store, it's going to be a different situation. If you start a new account, I was just helping a seller with this. Typically, you're under restrictions. Yes, you can let eBay know, hey, I have this store and I'm doing this consumer account because I'm testing this free thing that you're offering. You might get some limits lifted. You might not. So just realize then you're starting with no feedback, nothing. You're back to ground zero. Whether it's worth it to save the 12.35, okay, that you get with a store to get the free listing and the free final value fee. And remember, you can't do coupons and you can't do sales. Now, for my sellers who sell a lot of clothing, I'm thinking of somebody like Linda Stuff, who's a friend, who's a featured seller on eBay oftentimes. I mean, she has thousands of listings. She's a huge consignment seller. You know, would it be worth it to her because of the amount of money that she's spending on fees, you know, to have a private consumer account? I don't know. Like anything, you know, will we be allowed to test? Realize that eBay can tell your IP address. Will we be banned from trying a consumer account if we already have a store? I don't know. I don't know. In my mind, off the top of my head, I think for a smaller seller, again, as long as there's, you know, nothing that's going to be counted against you from having a smaller store and then trying a consumer account with the clothing to save on it. You know, if there's no mark against you, I think it's worth trying. But do realize if they offer it that you will be starting from zero. And as far as things like the selling limits that eBay puts on us, there are a lot of advantages to the store, even though, yes, it's ouchy to pay, you know, 12% of final value fees. You do get the ability with the coupons and the sales. And for those of us that have been selling for a while, you've got a bunch of feedback. And even though feedback doesn't go to best match criteria, buyers read feedback. Buyers look at feedback. It builds buyer confidence to shop with you. They see that you've got 100 feedback, 500 feedback, several thousand feedback. You're 99% positive feedback, 100% positive feedback. And it goes to building buyer confidence that you're going to fulfill it. So really this free listings that rolled out today for eBay UK and might come to the United States at some point, which would be nice, is really aimed at consumer sellers, people that are new to eBay, thinking about eBay, or haven't thought about eBay. They're selling using other apps. They're using Poshmark. They're using Mercari. They're using Grail. They're using Depop. And eBay's wooing them with no fees. Hello, you've got the things in the closet. Come and shop on eBay. And my bonus tip for you, and I've got another bonus too, is if eBay does roll this out for eBay US, is you're going to have a lot of consumer sellers on eBay because it's free. And you might get some really good deals. One of my favorite things, and I know there's others of you out there that do this, is to buy on eBay and flip retail arbitrage. I do it on eBay. If there's certain brands, certain types of things you like, I'm thinking something like laptops and cell phones, but clothing, shoes, you can do it in anything. One of my friends who's a big sneaker seller does it. You spot something and you know what the value is because perhaps the person hasn't done the extensive research in that category. And they're listing it for $20 and you know you can flip it for $80. So having these consumer sellers coming onto eBay because they're getting free listings and because they're not paying final value fees could be wonderful news for those of us that have been selling on eBay for quite some time, because we could possibly get some great inventory. So when you hear free listings, look at what the caveat is. But this one in the UK, it's private sellers, which is a consumer seller, somebody who's not a store seller, not registered as a business on eBay. And it is limited to clothing and it's limited to certain things in clothing. But it is free. It's going to bring a lot of people onto the eBay UK site, and it'll be exciting to see how this rolls out. And it's clearly eBay being sensitive about the cost of selling online, which we're all going, yay, eBay, because lower fees is certainly good for sellers. But always read the small print. Always take a look at it and always look at the source of the information. And you always want to try and find it on the eBay site and read it. And eBay always has lots of little asterisks and things on it. Read them. What are the disclaimers? What is excluded? What is included? So you absolutely know what you're doing. It's like when you create a listing. This happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. You create a listing and you get to the bottom and you're getting ready to list it. And it's showing you that it's $1 for the listing. And I'm going, $1? What did I do? Why is this costing me $1? And you go back up to the top and sure enough, you click something like gallery image or subtitle or something. You got to go back, take it off, and then list it. Okay. So just whenever you hear free, it's the New Yorker in me. Whenever you hear free, is what is free? What's the parameters? What's the disclaimers? What's included? And is it worth it? For what I get for no fees, is it worth it? Even though I pay fees with a store, even though it's like, ouch, we always like free, but is paying the fees putting more money in my pocket than the free? Free is not always the wisest choice, and free is not always the money-making choice. Oftentimes paying the fee, doing that, brings more money, brings me more income, and that's what we're after. What's going to increase my sales? And what's going to increase the income and the traffic to my listings? And if I need to pay for that, if I can still maintain a decent margin, it's going to be healthier for me in the long run to pay the fee, the final value fee, whatever, if it means more sales for me. And that's why we all got to watch this as it rolls out. Watch it if it comes to the United States. And for some of us, try it. But realize if you're creating a new account, again, if we're allowed to, realize eBay knows our IP addresses. If we can do it, there's a very good chance you'll be under some kind of selling restrictions. Okay, so it's always about thinking like what's going to be best for me, and then being willing to test as these new things roll out. One thing that is coming is Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a huge retail online shopping extravaganza retail event for sellers of all kinds. Because Mom's Day, as much as we love our moms is not just kitchen appliances and it's not just perfume and makeup. Mom's is power tools. It's all kinds of clothing, all kinds of home decor, all kinds of sporting goods. And I've got a free guide for you. It's on my website. I love to be selling, and hop over there and grab it. If you don't know, I've got over 25 years of brick and mortar experience from some of the biggest retailers here in New York City. So learned a lot about anticipating trends, anticipating retail moments. And what I've done is create a guide. It's completely free and it's on my website for you. I love to be selling.com and grab it. What sells on eBay for Mother's Day? I tell you exactly what sells on Mother's Day. So you can either go through your unlisted inventory and go through and pick out the things that are hot sellers, or as you're out shopping, print this guide out and put it in your bag so you've got it for sourcing. Okay? But anyway, so sometimes free is good, but free isn't always good. This free is good. So grab my free What Sells on eBay's for Mother's Day free guide. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.